A person can stand out for different talents or dangerous scandals. However, this time we will show you conditions and characteristics that you never thought you would see. Join us to meet people who can only be described as one in a million. From rarest syndromes that doctors can't explain to features no one else on Earth shares, these are the kinds of people you don't forget. Number 15. Alutri Anugrah and Alputri Dewi Ningsi. Anugrah and Ningsi were born conjoined at the waist, with one shared stomach and 3 legs between them. Doctors in Indonesia warned their parents that the girls likely wouldn't survive. But they did. And they're still here, healthy, growing, and learning how to live one shared step at a time. At birth, they had 3 legs between them. One was removed in surgery to improve mobility, and since then, they've been practicing walking every day. It's not easy. Each leg responds to a different brain, but they're getting more coordinated with time. They go to school, they laugh, and they're surrounded by supportive friends. Last year, they lost their mother. It was a huge emotional blow, but the girls have continued forward with the help of their father and community. Medical limits may have defined their beginnings, but not their direction. Alputri and Dewi aren't simply statistics. They're sisters with a future, and they're not backing down from it. Number 14. Isabella Leclerc. Isabella was born with Parkes-Weber syndrome that causes her right leg to swell dramatically. By her late teens, the leg weighed around 40 pounds. Jeans didn't fit. Sports were difficult. But Isabella didn't hide. She wore a bikini, took a photo, and posted it online, not to prove anything, but to show you can still feel good in your body. That one picture reached people around the world. Now, she wasn't just the girl with the heavy leg. She was a voice for body confidence. She's been in pageants, earned the title of First Princess, and continues to speak openly about her condition. Her sister Danica calls her inspiring. But to Isabella, this is just how she's learned to live. She now undergoes compression therapy to ease the swelling. And through all the questions, stares, and assumptions, she keeps showing up, calm, confident, and visible. "If I had the chance to change it," she said once, "I wouldn't. It's made me who I am, truly." Number 13. Marty Sheety. Marty walks with his legs crossed, not out of style, but survival. He was born with 2 rare conditions, arthrogryposis, which limits joint movement, and prune belly syndrome, which means he has almost no abdominal muscles. Doctors gave him 2 years to live. Marty is now 39. His legs move in a scissor-like motion because that's what worked for him as a child, and doctors were stunned when they saw it. One doctor even called in a group to watch, saying, "I've never seen this before." But Marty didn't care about the attention. He just wanted to move. He's been carried, supported, stared at, whispered about, but he's never been invisible. His family calls him a walking saint. Friends say he leads with compassion, and those who know him best say he never stops helping others. Marty doesn't shy away from his condition. He laughs and tells the truth. The world may see scissor legs, but his story runs much deeper than that. Number 12. Trisha Taylor. Trisha lived her 34 years with more strength than most do in a lifetime. She was born in 1989 with osteogenesis imperfecta, or brittle bone disease, and had more than 150 fractures at birth. She broke over 600 bones throughout her life. Doctors warned she wouldn't survive, but she proved them wrong every time. She earned her Master of Social Work from Boise State University and built a career helping others as a passionate advocate and case manager. Despite her condition, she became a mother to her son, Maven Red Taylor, her proudest accomplishment. Her resilience inspired thousands online through her writing and openness about living with fragility. Trisha passed away in 2023 at the University of Utah Medical Center, surrounded by family and love. Even in death, she gave the ultimate gift, donating her organs so others could live. Trisha wasn't just a survivor, she was a fighter, a mom, and a legend. Number 11. Jose. Jose was born in Ciudad Juarez with a tumor so large it wrapped around his neck and shoulder, pressing into his eye and threatening his heart. His parents had no money for treatment and were turned away from every hospital they visited. One day, outside an orphanage, he offered to carry groceries for a visiting church group. They saw him and didn't look away. They contacted Homeland Security. Days later, armored vehicles arrived to take Jose and his family out of their neighborhood, where cartel violence made daily life dangerous. They were given a temporary humanitarian visa and brought across the border to Albuquerque. Now, doctors are evaluating his condition, and the church is raising money for care. Jose keeps his face partly covered when he talks, still unsure how to be seen. But when asked what he wants to do once the tumor's gone, he didn't hesitate. "Play soccer," he said. "Maybe ride a bike." He smiled through his hands. Number 10. Kiraodar. When Kiraodar was born, doctors undoubtedly said he'd only live a few days. That's because his bones hadn't formed properly, and his height stopped at just 28 inches. But 4 decades later, he's still standing at the front of a classroom. He teaches children in his village and runs a shop nearby. As a kid, he needed help with everything, from breakfast to bathroom. Now he manages his daily routine with quiet confidence. His students treat him with the same respect they'd show any teacher. His voice is calm, and his message is consistent. Education is everything. It was his father who first helped him understand that, and he's passed that on to dozens of young minds. He still relies on his parents for a few daily tasks, but he's never let that define him. For Kiraodar, being small has nothing to do with living small. He earns, he teaches, and he shows up every day. "If I can do it," he says, "then nobody's out of options." Number 9. Harmony Rose Allen. There was a moment years ago when Harmony's parents weren't sure she'd live. Meningitis hit hard and fast, and before she turned 2, doctors had to amputate all 4 of her limbs. The idea of walking, playing, or even feeding herself felt impossible at first. But Harmony had her own timeline. She learned to hold a spoon with a pincer-style prosthetic. She laughed when yogurt missed her mouth. She started walking with leg prosthetics before most kids finished learning to balance. Every step, every wobble was its own little miracle. She didn't ask for applause, she just kept going. Her story made headlines in the UK. Awards followed. Her smile went viral. But none of that mattered to her as much as doing things herself. She became a symbol of resilience without trying. She just wanted to live freely. Today, Harmony isn't the girl who lost her limbs. She's the girl who never let go of joy, even when everything else was taken. Number 8. Amy Brooks. Amy Brooks was born without arms or legs. Pittsburgh doctors told her adoptive parents she'd never live alone. They didn't listen. They raised her to try everything. She eats on her own, walks using her hips and upper body, uses her chin to write, cook, sew, and even photograph. She's been doing things her way for decades now. Her YouTube channel, How Does She Do It?, shows it all. Grilling, dressing, painting, changing camera lenses. No tricks, no help, just Amy. She's also a motivational speaker, but she doesn't sell inspiration. Her message is simple. Stop asking what people are missing. Start paying attention to what they're doing. She says she doesn't wish for limbs. She's never had them. She's never needed them. Online trolls say cruel things, but she doesn't dwell on that. Amy's not chasing attention. She's just living a life she built herself, on her terms. She's not a cautionary tale. She's not a miracle. She's just Amy. Number 7. Eden strong. Eden's condition affects every muscle in her body. She depends on machines, one to breathe, another to keep her lungs clear, and several more to track her oxygen. Her wheelchair is built to support it all. Her house functions more like a care center than a home, but she runs it herself. She also runs a business, creates digital content, and manages a team of assistants. Lately, she's drawn criticism online for considering fertility options. Some say people with her condition shouldn't pursue parenthood. Eden doesn't bother with their opinions. She's not asking anyone for permission. On TikTok, she speaks directly to critics, sharing her story without filters or sugarcoating. Her routines are strict, but her plans are big. Every part of her day is backed up, spare machines, backup care, just in case. But she's not living cautiously. She's building forward. "I'm not lucky in spite of my disability," she said once. "I'm lucky because of it." And she means it. Number 6. Manan Mandal. They call him the Melted Man, but Manan Mandal doesn't flinch at the name. Born in Kolkata with extreme facial deformities caused by neurofibromatosis, he's missing an eye socket, an ear, and nearly all his teeth. At 60, surgeons offered him a full facial reconstruction, hope for a different life. But he declined. The cost could fund his daughter's wedding, and that, to him, mattered more. Manan lives on the road now, traveling to holy sites across India, collecting donations. He sleeps in tents, eats sparingly, and sends everything he can back home. He never went to school. He spent his life stared at, ridiculed, ignored. But at 18, he fell in love, had 4 children, and never looked back. A doctor confirmed his tumors aren't cancerous. He could seek treatment, but he won't, for now. "This is how Allah made me," he says. Manan doesn't need a new face. He's already fulfilled his purpose, with devotion, not disguise. Number 5. Joe Sooch. Joe Sooch lives in New York City and has fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, an extremely rare condition where muscle turns to bone. Once a joint locks in place, it's permanent. He can't sit up, chew food, or lift a toothbrush. He uses a feeding tube, spits into a cup, and avoids injury at all costs, because even the smallest cut could trigger another flare. But Joe doesn't stay quiet. He creates videos, edits content, and runs his channel with help from his best friend, Ely. "I need someone with me at all times," he says. But that doesn't stop him from showing up online, making people laugh, and staying connected. He loves photo shoots, jokes freely, and uses his platform as an outlet. He knows the condition will keep progressing, but today, he's still smiling, still posting, still part of the world, and that matters. He says his body might be stuck, but his creativity isn't. That's the one thing he refuses to let turn to stone. All right now, let's head over to Number 4. Olivia Copion. Olivia Copion was born with a rare vascular disorder that caused her left arm to swell much larger than her right. At first, doctors thought it was bruising. The real diagnosis didn't come until she was 2. Growing up, the swelling never stopped. Blood flow gets blocked, her veins stretch, and the arm can get intensely heavy. Other kids didn't understand. They laughed, called her names. One called her Hulky in a comment that stuck for years. By 12, it hurt more than physically. But Olivia didn't disappear. She started posting, arms uncovered, full face. She's 17 now and doesn't filter any of it. She once stood next to a freezing lake in Vermont for a photo shoot, just to prove she wouldn't hide. "I don't want to be a story," she says. "I want to just exist." She's not asking for inspiration points. She just wants to be seen without a question mark. Number 3. Carly Runke. Carly was born with Morquio syndrome type A that affects bone development and organ function. She's just 3 feet tall, even smaller than most others with the same condition. But Carly has never measured her life by inches. From a young age, she faced bullying, stares, and underestimation, but she kept showing up. Her brother Ed was her biggest supporter, always reminding her of what she was capable of. Now, she's taken that strength public, modeling at Little People of America fashion shows, appearing in interviews, and advocating for awareness. Carly isn't bothered by the physical challenges of her condition. What gets under her skin is when people talk to her like she's a child. "I'm 3 feet tall, but I'm still a grown woman," she says. Her energy is sharp, funny, and completely self-possessed. She doesn't want pity, she wants progress. And while she stands small, Carly moves through the world on her own terms. Number 2, Janney from Cologne. At 9, Janney was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. Doctors removed her knee, rotated her lower leg 180 degrees, and reattached it, creating a new, functional joint. The surgery saved her life. But for years, she covered it with a prosthetic. She didn't want to explain. She didn't want questions. "I felt like a monster," she said. It wasn't until a later surgery that she finally made peace with how she looked. She took the prosthetic off, started posting photos, and began sharing her story publicly. Her leg bends backward, and she still has both feet, but one faces behind. "It's like a built-in superpower," she says now. Janney lives in Cologne, posts updates on Instagram, and wants people to see rotationplasty for what it is: smart, effective, and survivable. She says hiding used to feel safe, but visibility gave her strength. Not everyone understands. That's fine. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's just done pretending her story needs to be hidden. Number 1, Zachary Brown. Growing up, Zachary struggled to be seen. He was born with large cysts that distorted his face and tongue. Speaking clearly, eating, even walking down a street, all came with challenges. His parents tried to protect him by keeping him home, but that led to isolation. Zachary turned to gaming, built himself a powerful computer setup, and spent most of his life online. But everything changed when his father became ill. Zachary sold his gear, picked up 2 jobs, and began re-entering the world he'd avoided for years. He started exercising, showing up in public, and finding his footing. Surgery was an option, but doctors warned it might permanently damage his voice. He said no. His voice was one thing that still felt untouched. Today, Zachary shares his experiences openly, not to ask for sympathy, but to claim his place. He isn't looking to be fixed. He's just living as he is, and for him, that's not a compromise. It's a decision. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.